I've been ballin' the league. You wanna fuck, be discreet, cause I got these bitches on me. Bitches that coming in fleas. Vegan diet, had to stop eating meat. Dog her out, had to give her a treat. If it ain't sex, then it isn't for me. In a big Benz, but it looked like a cheap grab. Anything, no Ferg ain't cheap. I was getting racks, get them in my sleep. Thought she was slick, but I already peaked. Yeah, remember when she said she didn't notice me. Now she called for her to come beat up her ovaries. Foreign drip, I got my shit from overseas. Money come first, nothing come over these. She wanna talk, but I'm not speaking. Bitch, I be flexed up, you a weakling. I dropped a 3, bitch, I was leaning. She wanna get even like Steven. I got a foreign girl, she a Rican. Smoking on turtle pie, shit reeking. For real, I'm in the guts, I left her screaming. You know I'm up, we ain't competing. I got a Glock, I'm finna beam it. Shorty a thought, I'm finna beat it. Touch on my wrist, Ferg be freezing. It in the bitch that I'm needing. Oh, that's your shorty, you can keep it. I brought a bitch back like I leased it.
It's not so bad.
Walk in the store, baby, go punch it. She eat the dick up like a luncheon. Dumb hoes always want something. Hop on bingo, get the dumps in. I caught a blitz like I'm Russian. Smoking on cherry pie out the Russian. I don't know shit, but I know me. She said that you rich, I agree. Wasn't fucking with school, fuck a degree. I put my all in every single beat. He come up short, nigga, like Capri. And I'm doing shit like Drew Brees. I ain't the blood, but I make him bleed. I make a polka dot out his tee. Her ass be poking out through them jeans. For real, they said first stop, bro, keep going. Louis V winter coat like it's snowing. I'm on a boat, but I ain't rowing. All that rah-rah shit, nigga blow. I get the packs in like I grow. I'm in a big jet like a bow. I got a foreign bitch, she some more. Virgo hop on beats, get the floating. I got a white plug named Owen. If it ain't 99, ain't smoking. Ain't tryna fuck, girl, get the going. Glock caught a strike, I'm bowling. I ain't cheap keys, but I'm glowing. Smoking on Cali Pack, got the bowls. If I got gas, nigga, I'm rolling. If you got ass, I'm tryna stroke it. I popped the perk, nigga, I was focused. Bitches be bugging me like a locust. I had to cut her off, bitch was bogus. I got my money up, not a bonus. Crazy how ops really be the closest. 100 round drum, don't reload it. I make a nigga split like Moses. Work so hard, waiting for this moment. Money come first, nigga, that's the slogan. Can't trust a rat, nigga, fuck a rodent. Virgo next, he was chosen. I miss Kayla, she left me open. Sometimes I don't think she even know. And her friends listen, so I know they gon' quote it. Virgo be on it, fuck a opponent.
Chef Sonic.
Let's go.
Can't see that shit.
Yeah. I just pulled a phone. I couldn't even sleep. Yeah, the land fast, but I could beat it in the Jeep. These Balenciagas big as hell, I can't even creep. Told lil' bro to go and make it hot, now it's finna steam. I woke up counting racks, fell asleep off the lean. I woke up with your bitch, but that shit was not no dream. I grabbed some red and some cream soda, make that little bitch pink. Niggas dissing on the internet, they pussy and they stink. Carmart on my jacket, pistol never lacking. Made him move out, sent that nigga packing. 10 racks in my back pocket, that's finna be my caption. Poof, get a nigga gone, didn't know I did magic. I did Ricky, I did Como Day, yeah, I do that fast. She want me comfort, but this shit won't happen, that little hoe gon' drag it. I got gelati and the stuffed wood burning like a dragon. I was lit before I touched the mic, y'all little boys ain't having. I'm fresh as hell, like I'm Travis Scott. White look like Asher Roth. Gun and hoe 10 milli, shoot this bitch and make it Millie Rock. Won't go back and forth with her, know that she a silly thought. Lil' cuz got that JR, come through, he hit silly shots. Black coupe like I'm the Dark Knight, knock him out, he had a dark night. I got Glocks, but I'm a welterweight. Shoot you, I will not fight. I'm in feather, got my weight wrong. Shoulder strap, cause the case strong. I'm on boosted in the booth. AR shoot like doo-doo-doo. Beat a nigga black and blue. Cuz bank crib, his flag is blue. This car is stolen, but the tag is new. SRT Jeep, this ain't no coupe. My seats is red, my drink is too. Drake ride fancy like it's my boo. Got a 10 on me while I'm in the booth. Zante so good, made me suck my tooth. Made me suck my teeth. Packing the mail is gone, it's fleece. I'm a real big dog, but I'm off the leash. Make a beachy dick, won't call for weeks.
First things first, a bitch ain't never left me. You can push me to the side, you two and two and this get messy. Put the pussy on my face, it's like a nigga need your blessing. Call the drink, chameleon, pour deuces, sit down with the reverend. She only here for peace, no time for stress. And have a bitch come suck my meat and tell that little bitch get to steppin'. See my ex bitch was a fluke, she like to use my name as leverage. Have a bitch dump through my money, then she stack it up like Tetris. Having one bitch cook my food while another clean my necklace. You ain't never never been that dude, but she think that I'm the bestest. When you pull up on a scale, just make sure you change the metrics. Still smashing on Rotel, I ain't changing who is checking. If you wanna be the plug, you gotta learn how you can stretch it. Took a drink nap and woke up to a bitch blowing my messages. Little bitch think that I'm mean, I'm just out here trying to get it. Begging one of handouts that'll have a nigga living. Remember times we couldn't eat cause it was roaches in the kitchen. Didn't nobody help a nigga when I was back there in the trenches. I was on the verge of tweaking, but my mama didn't listen. Niggas talking pushing P's, so the gang is on a mission. Got some niggas that is blood, got a couple niggas crippin'. Still screaming for my thugs, for my brothers that was glisten.
Season 2, episode 4, live for the first time. I'm just gonna see if anyone else joins the live, and then we're gonna just start.
Tired of telling niggas the same thing over and over. And my bitch 3 times, but niggas don't fucking listen, man. Bitch can't even fuck. Use your head for you motherfucking losing, man. Cream team, STL game, man. You know how we rock it, man. Boy, you smoking on that same shit that got Chris Rock. Drink cocaine with a drum, this bitch sound like Kid Rock. Make these niggas go and copy this, them niggas Xerox. I could move, we still on his ass, we got him gridlocked. One bitch, I ain't picky. Fuck me till I'm dizzy. My bitch catch another op, she gon' get some new Rickies. R.I.P. my young boy, that shit still got me pissy. My nephew won't even play my ops, he said it sound too kitty. Bitch want me to fuck with her, but she be acting ditzy. He thought it was clean, I'm still serving cut no kizzy. Full of looking clean as hell, can't forget that blicky. Chop and shoot like Jimmy, I ain't even had no simi. Every beat shit automatic, supercharged like Hemi. Told my little bitch walkie only, she can keep that Henny. Virgo, he got Trump money, gave myself a stimmy. Told my bitch don't want hibachi, she can keep the bennies. Get them chopped like sushi rolls, play them hoes like movie roles. That boy, he got baby money, bankroll like a 2-year-old. This bitch know she fine as hell, came through built like Ruby Rose. 100K times 10, nigga, I'm gon' need a few of those. Pint of red, it look like a bottle of some hot sauce. All these sticks, thought that we was finna go to Top Golf. Treat him like a thigh shirt, get that nigga cropped off. He said he gon' touch me, see how ain't shit popped off. LOL, ha, I know folks don't like me. Pussing off these pussy niggas really do excite me. Shawty know I'm rude as hell, but somehow she still like me. She know I ain't pussy and ain't that nigga like me.
Alright, that's the 3-song intro. If you're not in here yet, you're coming in the middle of the show. Pause. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 4 of Garrett's Football Show. And if I seem not my normal, entertaining, loose self, pause again, it's because this is my first time doing this live. It's a lot of new things that are going to be going on in this episode today. I'm going to be showing you what I'm seeing, usually on my phone right here on my computer. I'm going to be trying to be entertaining, but still also paying attention to if anyone joins why I'm doing this and says anything. I want to be able to talk to them and listen to what they're saying a little bit, unless it's something that I don't care about, but I still want to at least be able to look at it. So bear with me if Garrett's Football Show seems a little bit less perfect as usual, but it's the same Garrett's Football Show as usual, and this is really easier for me, which is going to be easier for you, because I'm going to be able to talk about football more, and Garrett's Football Show is going to be more than once a week. So that's what I really have been leading up to. The first couple of episodes was just saying Garrett's Football Show is going to be coming more than once a week, and this is the beginning of that. Pause. But, all right, I hate intros. If you watch anything that I do, you know that, so I'm going to get straight into it. We're going to go into my teams. For the first time in Garrett's Football Show, I'm going to start off with the Colts. My teams are the Colts and Steelers. In case you don't know, I'm going to start off with the Colts because that's the team I'm excited to talk about. It's flipped. Last season, it wasn't fun talking about the Colts. It was frustrating, and I love talking about the Steelers. This season, 4 weeks in, I hate talking about the Steelers. And I don't know why I haven't talked about the Colts, because they're about to be fun to talk about. We have our guy. I think, well, first let's look at the game. We lost to the Rams. It was a tale of two halves, 29-23. Let's look at the play-by-play really quick. I'm already loving that you guys can see this because you can just see exactly what I be talking about, so you know I'm right. I mean, touchdown, punt, touchdown. We did at the half it was 20-0, and then we came back and it did, what was it? Went to overtime. Anthony Richardson had a game-winning drive to win, and I believe, and a 2-point conversion. So, tear of two halves, great game. That was one of those games that I say sometimes where sometimes you can have a win and be nervous about it, and sometimes you can have a loss and still be excited about it. That was one of those times where you can have a loss and still be excited about it. I really can't say anything really that you shouldn't be excited about with the Colts right now or something to be mad about. I mean, let's start with the head coach, Steichen. He makes decisions, like I can tell he has a head coach mind, and he has one of those like weird offensive like mindsets where I just know that he's going to be sometimes like live, like last game, I can't remember against who did we play last game, but it doesn't matter. There was a few times last game where I was thinking in my head, like, why is he doing this against the Ravens in that dub? There were a couple decisions where I was questioning, but they all ended up being right. But I think that's to say Steichen's creative. Steichen knows football, and I think he has some of that offensive genius in it that I'm going to talk about with the Steelers later. We have none of that, but he has some of that. And I think he also has the great decision-making skills and the leadership to be a great coach. So check that off. Be excited about. We got a new head coach. We've been needing that. Last season, we ended the season with Jeff Saturday. Anthony Richardson. We got one of those ones. From the first 4 weeks, we have the second best rookie quarterback that was drafted in a draft of big rookie quarterbacks. There's nothing else you can say about it. Richardson is the best quarterback after Stroud, he's the second best rookie quarterback in the league. I mean, it's really easy. And this game, in every game, the thing about him that's really impressing me is how accurate he is, because when he was coming into the league, everything that people were saying about him is he has the athleticism. He's going to be great. He's going to be able to be like have those like run plays, make plays with his feet. But is he going to be able to like run the offense and be accurate? Is he going to have a lot of interceptions? Is he going to make a lot of rookie mistakes? And honestly, he hasn't been making too many at all. I mean, 11 for 25, 200 yards. I mean, I was just reading something else where it was like saying like between like in man-to-man coverage in all of the league, him and CJ Stroud, two rookie quarterbacks, are like top 5 in the league. And that's just that's just with like all quarterbacks. Those are two rookies that are like in the top 5. When it's in man-to-man coverage, they're like some of the most accurate in the league, and we have one of those on our team. This was Minshew, and Minshew was great too. I really wanted to go back and kind of just look at how many interceptions Stroud has, or not Stroud, how many interceptions Richardson has, and how he's been doing, but I don't even need to because he's been playing good. So he's not making the simple mistakes. Then all of the athleticism and things that we were hoping we were going to get from Richardson, he's doing all of them. He's rushed for I think the second most touchdowns, and he's gotten concussed in like 2 games, and it's only been 4 games. And I think after Jalen Hurts, he's rushed like either second or third most rushing touchdowns by a quarterback. I wouldn't be surprised if he was like somewhere in that top 10 range for most rushes for a player, period. Anthony Richardson is the truth. If I'm speaking about the Colts right now, the thing that I can say with them is just like our receiving core. And one second. The only thing I would say about the Colts right now is our receiving core. It's inconsistent. Like Alec Pierce, he has times where it's like he's ass, but then he has times where I think I'm really impressed by him. Mo Alley Cox is good, but Michael Pitt, I mean, it's like we have a really average receiving core that has the potential to be really good. And if they play it at their best most of the time, they would be good. But the Colts, I mean, they're fun to watch right now. It's one of the few teams where I feel like you have a loss and you're still going to be excited about it sometimes if we're in the game, and if it's like something like this. And the Rams, they're in every game. I mean, Matthew Stafford is Matthew Stafford. Puka Nacua, he's a monster. He's a rookie. Pause. He's been on my fantasy team. I picked him up early off the waiver wires. People who did that, you really know your fantasy teams. You were really looking at that. I picked him up immediately. I knew what was going on. 9 receptions, 463 yards, 10 targets. He only missed 1 ball. Pause. That's something that he's been doing all season. Like the line for this game was even, and what I'm getting at is the fact that we were in this game in the first half, we didn't even score really. It shows like where the Colts are, and we have a rookie quarterback going against Matthew Stafford. I mean, it shows where we are and where we're going as a team, and on a positive trajectory. The only thing you can say with the Colts right now is, can we get Jonathan Taylor back? Is there some way to figure that out? Or, I mean, there's no trade offers for him right now, and I don't think there's anywhere he's leaving this season, actually. But getting rid of him to get players that want to play for us, and getting good trade compensation, or getting good pieces back for him. But JT on that team right now, like, you feel like we win that game. What's the other game we lost? Like, you just think if JT's there, do we win that game? Jags are ass this year. I feel like I'm not talking about that in this episode, but Jags are a disappointment. Yes, I feel like we win that game if we have JT. So it's just something to think about. Receiving core is something to think about. But the Colts are good. And we have one of those ones. We have a franchise quarterback and a black franchise quarterback in Indiana, which is something that is crazy and something that's surprising to even say out loud. And we made the right decision as a organization, which is something that for me is kind of crazy to say out loud as a from a coaching perspective, it looks like, and from the pick that we got in the draft. So it's just like you can't be nothing but excited for it, and you can't be excited about the Colts. I will just end on this with the Colts. I'll say I was worried at the beginning of the season, or before the season started, that if Anthony Richardson didn't look too good, or if he was making mistakes, maybe Colts fans would kind of give up on him or not give him the time to grow. I was completely wrong about that. I don't see that happening. And the same thing with Garrett's football show, and if anything I can always admit when I'm wrong, when there's good reason behind it, and if I'm actually wrong, and that I was wrong about. I mean, all of the little things that you could be potentially saying with Anthony Richardson, maybe how we're using him, maybe his decision-making with running and putting himself in bad decisions sometimes. But even that, I don't think so. But this is what people could say. I'm not seeing people say it. And even if I think he was playing worse, just the reaction that I'm seeing just from talking to people on Twitter, just from when I'm looking at the games, I got to go to a Colts game, Lucas Oil, I can just see the full city is supporting Richardson, I feel like, at this moment. Rather, growing pains or no growing pains, and right now it doesn't even look like he's having many growing pains. It's amazing to watch him. So it's just that's the only thing I'll say is this season with Colts fans, and I don't even think I need to say it, I'll just say this for myself. I mean, our win and losses I don't care too much about. I think it's going to be good because we're going to be talking about standings in this episode all the time, but I think we're ranked second now that the Houston just did us the way they did the Steelers. But let's see. I'm trying to see rankings, but it doesn't matter. I think we're ranked second now because of the win that the Texans had. But even if we get to the playoffs, we don't get to the playoffs, I'm really not too worried about that with the Colts this year. All I want is for Anthony Richardson to get better every week, for him to play, for him to stay healthy. And that's really about it, honestly. And he just to get more used to playing in the NFL and more used to the fact that he's going to be the Colts quarterback for years to come. I mean, that's just patience, I think it is with this. And this is what I said with all rookie quarterbacks last year with Kenny Pickett, because I talked about that all the time. You just got to give rookie quarterbacks a good situation, a good team around them, a good coach, not a lot of shit going on that's bad within the organization. And he has to be talented. And then, you just be patient, and it goes the way it goes. Everyone's different. But if you have those things, organization good, the rookie is actually growing and getting better and has talent, it doesn't tweak out and make bad decisions, then you can be okay with a couple losing seasons. A couple, literally. And a couple. I'll just leave it there. But I don't even think we're going to have any problems with that with Richardson. He's good. And we're still ranked first, so never mind. I guess I was tweaking. So, yeah, we could have our rookie quarterback. I guess the good news is what I'm trying to say is we could have our rookie quarterback and still have to grow, and still because our division is shit, the Jags are playing bad, the Texans are the Texans. I mean, who knows? The Titans are the Titans. Everyone's 2-2. We could actually come out of this really good. This season for the Colts could be amazing. Nothing bad to say about the Colts, and everything bad that I was saying could happen for the Colts. Before the season started in episode 1, I was wrong about. So it's exciting. I haven't been watching the Colts that much. I need to start watching them more, I feel like, and I'm going to do that, but the Colts are good right now. I'm going to switch now. I'm going to switch to the Steelers. I don't want to do this. It's not fun to talk about. everything that I just said about being excited about the Colts and how I thought the Colts were gonna not, have some growing pains this year and not be maybe the best team in our division. Maybe it was gonna be frustrating. I was wrong about. And everything I said about the Steelers just being great right off the bat, them coming second in the division, just playing good. Everything I said about that was wrong. And right now I'm having trouble even pulling up everything from this game because I hate to talk about this. This Steelers season is so frustrating for me. I've been getting talked about it consistently and constantly by my friends. The name of my group chat right now is Steelers are ass. It's been that for 4 weeks ever since that terrible week 1 loss to the 49ers. Nothing's been good for the Steelers with me. So coming on live in a situation where I'm already not that comfortable, and then also having to talk about how the team that's been my favorite team since I was a child is terrible. And it doesn't seem like we can do anything right, even though we have good pieces around us. It's not fun to do, but I'm going to do it. That was the intro. Here's the story. The Steelers got absolutely mollywopped by the Houston Texans, 6-30. We had multiple times to score in the red zone, and we didn't. And CJ Stroud shitted on us. The run game for the Texans shitted on us. Our defense looked probably one of the worst that it's looked all season in comparison to rookie quarterback, new to the NFL, TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith. Steeler defense, they should be dominating. 49ers, maybe to a lot of people could be expected. This was not expected by a lot of people. So I think it's a little bit more embarrassing on our defense. But yeah, this loss was terrible. I'm going to do everything I can to talk about the Steelers at a later time. So I'm going to start with the Texans. Let's just be honest. CJ Stroud is the best rookie quarterback in the league right now, by far. Second pick, he's playing better than Bryce Young. No one is going to argue that anywhere. CJ Stroud is maybe, possibly, potentially one of the best rookie quarterbacks that we've seen in the first 4 games in 2 or 3 years. I mean, first 4 games. He's better than Trevor Lawrence. He's better than... Who else are big rookie quarterbacks that I've seen? I mean, really the only one that I can think that off the first 4 games I'm saying was better than CJ Stroud that I can think of in my head is Mahomes, Lamar. I feel like the first 4 games. CJ Stroud is different. That's what I'm trying to get to. So everyone talking shit about how bad this looks for the Steelers. I mean, the Texans have been in every game that they've played in mostly. CJ Stroud has looked good in every game. He's looked like a franchise quarterback. He's looked like potentially one of the best... No, not potentially. He's looked like one of the best 15 quarterbacks in the league in a potential top 10 from week to week. I mean, 16 for 30, 306 yards, 2 TDs, no interceptions. He has one of the best one of the best touchdown celebrations in the league right now. CJ Stroud just came into the league immediately and looked like he's already been here. All right, so that I feel like in a couple of weeks, if they continue to play well, which I think they would, and I support CJ Stroud and I like CJ Stroud, I'm not going to, no shit talking there. If they continue to look that good, this loss to the Steelers will look not as bad to me and to a lot of people. So let's just start off with that. It looks bad. We lost 30-6 to the Texans. All the Texans are a poverty franchise and they suck. All right, it looks like they got a franchise quarterback. Damian Pierce had 24 carries for 81 yards. Devin Single. I mean, they're not doing none of that. They had a great game. They were going crazy on all cylinders. And this is a team that I think is also like the Colts with their rookie quarterback on an upward trajectory. So I just wanted to put that in as a big. Keep that in mind. Now the Steelers. Our defense, which is with how terrible our offense have been this year, if we're going to win any games, it's because of our defense. And our defense, they have to get stops. They have to get, which they did, really they have to get a couple turnovers. And CJ Stroud is so accurate and he played so well in the run defense and they had such a good plan for us, which hurts to say, that there is really not a lot of opportunity for our defense to get turnovers. They didn't play as good as you would like them to. Their D-line didn't get to the quarterback as much as you would like them to. He had more time than I'd like, but I can't really be mad at the defense. this is all on the offense. And this is what it comes down to is the Steelers had their opportunities. I'm look at the play-by-play. They had their opportunities to score. This right here on this interception, it was a good, first and 10. It was a good drive up until the interception. We were driving down the field, and then we get an interception running the exact same play that we ran last week that worked. I think it was the touchdown to Pickens. It was the exact same play call, though, to Pickens for a touchdown last week against the Raiders. And then the next week you do it again, just flip-flopped against the same team. And I'm not even going to cap. I saw that on ESPN, but I do remember because I was watching it on my phone in the car, sweaty as hell shitty on Sunday when I was watching football. I was watching it on my phone. When I saw that shit, I was like, A, why the fuck is he throwing that? It looks like it's just double coverage. And B, yeah, I'm not even going to say I recognized it. It did look like a bad play. But after I watched ESPN and watched, I forget who it was that said it, I was like, that is crazy. It is the exact same play. I did peep it. But I always say I'm not a football savant. I'm just a really good football fan that is right about it. I'm sure the Texans, there's football savants. They knew what was happening. They were looking at it, lining up. I watch enough football documentaries because I'm interested enough and I'm a nerd about it to do research to know. They know if you're lining up here and here and here, this is the exact same drive. I probably watched this in film. Oh yeah, we're so dumb play call. So it's an interception. Then we have punt. How can our defense do anything? We're automatically punting immediately. When we do get to the field, when we do get to the end zone, or not end zone, we do get to the red zone. I can't even speak. I'm so angry speaking about it. When we do get to the red zone, we don't finish. Our offense is all around terrible, and Kenny Pickett has played not up to the standard that I want him to play at this year. I haven't said the name of like the big boogeyman and the big conversation that's going to start everything with the Steelers, and that's coming. Pause. But Kenny Pickett, I'll say he hasn't played as good as I wanted him to play this year. But he hasn't gotten the most help. And he showed glimpses and moments on drives in that Raiders game, in multiple games, where you can see even in this game, in the drive where he got hurt before he got hurt, you can see that Kenny Pickett has the talent. He has the ability. I think he's just in a bad situation that is organizationally bad for the Steelers. And this is where I get in to start talking about Matt Canada. Because the Steelers, in my opinion, are one of the best run organizations in the league. They're one of the most loyal organizations in the league, and they have one of the best coaches in the league right now and of all time in Mike Tomlin. And I think Mike Tomlin, being the way that he coaches, which in a lot of ways makes it so good, is hurting the Steelers because he's so loyal and won't fire Matt Canada and realize that Matt Canada is hurting the Steelers. And he sucks. And he's not a good play caller. And even though I can't see when the team is doing the exact same play from last week, I can see when on first down we keep running it with Najee Harris and get 2 yards, and Najee Harris for some reason looks like he doesn't want to play football. Then you go and you run it again, and we're going at 3rd and 7, 3rd and 6, and you're calling the same plays. And even when you call a pass play, it's like it's just stupid decision after stupid decision after stupid decision, where I'm not even a football fan, and I don't even usually should feel comfortable saying that, or I'm not even a football genius is what I meant to say, and I shouldn't be in a position to feel comfortable saying Matt Canada, who undoubtedly knows more about football than me, is making stupid decisions. But the average fan can tell Matt Canada does not know how to call offensive plays in the NFL. And it's hurting the Steelers, and it's hurting Kenny Pickett. If Kenny Pickett was a better player, I think he could be able to level up above it and level up above Matt Canada's bad play calling so much. But he's not. And I think with a good play caller, a confident play caller, he would be a lot better, and the Steelers I think we would have won this game, and it would have looked a lot better. But it is a mixture of a lot of things. It is a mixture of Pickett. It is a mixture of Najee Harris just sucking. I mean, the O-line's not good, but he sucks. TJ Warren is so much better than him. Matt Canada is a part of also not realizing that and giving TJ Warren more touches, but that's another thing. Pause. So yeah, it's Najee, it's Kenny Pickett, it's the Steelers just seeming like they're kind of archaic, to be honest, and doing the same thing over. But at the beginning of all of this, with all of these offensive problems, Matt Canada is just terrible. And even if the past 2 weeks he looked like he was doing a little bit better and he had something shaken, and maybe it was Pickett's problem and Pickett's fault doing this, it doesn't matter. Right now, he fucking sucks. And I'm tired of watching him. I'm tired of seeing them with those weak-ass hats like switching to him, like riding in play calls when it's 3rd and 8, and I know we're probably not gonna get it. Or Kenny Pickett, he's gonna do something crazy that shows his talent again, and we get it. Like we get the first down at 3rd and 8, and then I gotta watch 2 plays just to see another 3rd and 8 4 minutes later. Like it's just not fun to watch. The defense, it's the most fun part of the of Steelers game to watch for me now. Is just watching us on defense, watching T.J. Watt, watching us get interceptions, watching sacks happen, and that's not fun. I can't even lie and say I like watching that because I don't. That shit's not cool. We need to get rid of Matt Canada, and I'm scared about the rest of the season, the Steelers season. And I know that the way that the Steelers are, I can tell any Steelers fan watching this, we're not firing Matt Canada in the middle of the season. It's just not going to happen. We're not going to get Ben Roethlisberger. Like I've been seeing this week with all the talk about Matt Canada. Like, are we going to fire... Are we going to fire him in the middle of the season and maybe get someone else? No. Could the Steelers move on from Mike Tomlin? Even seeing, like, these are conversations that I'm seeing. It's possible. I don't even want to talk about that. That's for another thing. I'm not even mentally in the place to think about the problems that Mike Tomlin could be putting on the Steelers as well and how much of a problem he is. Because I can say right now, I'm a Mike Tomlin apologist. I mean, sorry. It's going to be, he is riding off the coattails of 3 Super Bowl appearances and 2 Super Bowl wins from 2011, back when I was in elementary school, and now I'm graduated out of college for 2 years. He is but he's a great coach. I'm not going to sit here and talk about Mike Tomlin on October 3rd on Garrett's Football Show, Season 2, Episode 4. Not today. Maybe later, because at some point I have to have journalistic integrity, but not today. But he has to get rid of Matt Canada, and the longer that he refuses to get rid of him, the worse that it is for the Steelers. And that's just a fact. The rest of our season, a look ahead. We have the Ravens, Rams, Jags, Titans, Packers. Which one of those games do I think we can win? I'm scared about all of them. Just a moment of silence. I was so excited about this season for the Steelers. And Matt Canada is just so much worse than I thought it would be. Kenny Pickett has a bone bruise. I was looking at that, just an update on that. It looks like, they're just all that Tomlin was saying today was that they're going to just let him practice, and how well he does in practice is going to just decide on whether or not he plays on Sunday. It's one of those division games against the Ravens. Those games in the NFC North or AFC North, if you know anything about that division, they're always physical. They're usually low-scoring games. It's going to be a lot of shit going on. That may be a game to hold him out. I think that's just a little bit of gamemanship from Tomlin, just saying, oh, maybe he'll play. Oh, we're going to see how it is, but I don't think he's going to play. I don't think. I could be wrong, and I want to see him play because he's been fucking up and he needs to do good. And every time he has the opportunity to take the field on a Sunday, he needs to do it and play well. But I also don't want to see us risk him. And I think we're going to get rid of Canada, hopefully, eventually. And him for one game on Week 5 against the Ravens isn't necessary in the grand scheme of things. So that game, if Pickett plays, we still probably lose. But I think we win. If he doesn't play, we definitely lose. Mitchell Trubisky's not doing it. I will say this, though, as like a little Garrett's Football Show, some of these things that I do. Last season, I did always used to say with Mitchell Trubisky, he seems to play well when there's no pressure on him. And when everyone thinks he's going to play bad. That's the perfect game for that. So I'll just leave that there. Trubisky can play good in spots, but you give him 2 games, 3 games, he's going to start to go into I don't want to see it. But that's all I'll say with that. But, yeah. Pickett plays, we still probably lose, maybe we win. Pickett doesn't play, we still probably lose. Or, yeah, we definitely probably lose. And maybe Trubisky, by the gift of God, does a crazy upset against a Ravens team that I haven't been that confident in this season. So I will say that. Let's see. Rams, probably going to lose. Jags, we should win. Titans, probably going to lose. Packers. I'll talk about that game closer to when that comes. But that's all I'm going to talk about with the Steelers. I realize we've been bad. If anyone that is in any of my group chats, any of my friends are watching this, I realize, it's funny. I ignore you guys. I say what I say. I admit that the Steelers on Garrett's Football Show, I'm going to be somewhat honest. I can admit that the Steelers are trash right now. I can admit that Kenny Pickett doesn't look good. And I can admit that all the shit it's funny. It's funny to talk about the Steelers and I was wrong. That's cool. Let's move on. 34 minutes into Garrett's Football Show. Usually I like to be Like on my usual episodes, I move so much quicker, but I'm not used to the live. Like I feel like I'm just rambling more, but we're going to move on. We're going to go and just look at the rest of the league. I'm not going to talk for too much longer since we're already at 35 minutes. Or I am. I'm going to talk for as long as I want, actually, because I'm live. Fuck it. But I'm gonna try to be a little bit more to the point, like how Garrett's football show usually is. I don't want this to be a long stream. So let's start off. I'm going to just do a list of the 5 best teams in the league. And from there, I'm going to talk about those teams. So let's get a note going. Top 5 teams in the league. This is in no order. I'm tweaking. This is in no order, but this is in the order that I want to talk about these teams. Bills and Dolphins. Remember, and I might have spelled that wrong. Remember, this is in no particular order. So don't be like Garrett thinks the Bills are the best team in the league and he thinks the Dolphins are the second best team in the league. That's not what I think. This is the order I want to talk about it because it's the most convenient. So Dolphins, Bills, they're both in the top 5 best teams in the league. I'm going to say probably Miami is probably in that like 4th, 5th range. Bills are like in that 2nd, 3rd. But this game. First off, with everybody who's down on the Dolphins because of this one game, I'm not a big believer, and this is something I see on Garrett's football show all the time, of like week by week, everything changes for a team. In the same way that, you know, the Bills had that bad week 1 loss to the Jets, but there was a lot around that, and why I did want to talk about how, you know, Josh Allen sometimes makes mistakes, but that's not like saying what the Bills' season is going to be as a whole. In the same way that the Dolphins have one of the most exciting and creative and most fun to watch offenses in the league, and they're one of the best teams in the league, them getting beat by 18 points by the Bills on Sunday doesn't make me think that's still not the case, honestly. I mean, it's an in-division game, and division games are always hard, and it's Josh Allen against Tua. I won't even say that last name on live right now because I already know it's going to be crazy, and I can't edit it out. But against Tua, I think it's like Tua's only beat him like one time. Like the Bills, I mean, Allen for his whole career has been shitting on the Dolphins, and I feel like the Bills, for most of my time I've been alive, have been better than the Dolphins. Like that's just is what it is. I feel like that's like a division thing, and I think the same way it happened last year, the next time the Dolphins and the Bills play this season, I think the Dolphins are going to win. I just think that's one of those things. Josh Allen had a great game. Stephon Diggs had a great game, had one of those things where it just proves where I think Stephon Diggs to me is just one of those people, like I feel like he has like an older brother syndrome, and I feel like he is the older brother. I think he is older than Trayvon, I feel like. But where it's just like with him and Josh Allen, like where he's like, you see last season where he's on the middle, like he's in the, he's like on the sidelines talking shit to Josh Allen, like publicly embarrassing him. Like he shows his emotions. He wears his heart on his sleeve. Like he talks shit, like outwardly. Like that's some older brother shit. And I feel like that doesn't mean he wants to be away from Josh Allen, or he wants to be like he has a little bit more confidence, and he shows that when he's angry he's going to show it and he's going to voice his opinion. But he loves Josh Allen, and I don't think I was ever worried or there was ever a thing of him wanting to be away from Josh Allen or get rid of the Bills, because I even said, where are you going to go? But if you're not, because they're paying you, you have one of the best quarterbacks in the league. If you don't want to be on the Bills, what team are you going to go to be better? I think Josh Allen sometimes in big games when he does the stupid shit that Josh Allen sometimes does, Diggs be like, that's what I be talking about. And I'm going to tell you, this is the stupid shit that you be doing. You got to be smart. Like that's older brother shit. Like I feel like because I'm the younger brother, maybe that's a take not everybody's going to get. But that's a fact. Like right in front of, like you be you're tweaking out right then and there. That's what he does to Josh Allen, and I think Josh Allen, for some reason, I think because it's like quarterback in the NFL, and you got to be respectful in public, he just kind of is cool about it. But I think like in private, he probably yells at him the same way. But Stephon Diggs had a great game. Stephon Diggs is not going anywhere from the Bills, and the Bills are still one of the best teams in the league. That's not going away. The Dolphins are still one of the best teams in the league. I think the Dolphins, well, yeah, that's where I'll stay with that. Those are still 2 of the best teams in the league. That game did make me feel more confident about the Bills, and like more like, again, I've been saying I'm wrong a lot, but more I was wrong about what I was saying a couple weeks ago with like maybe the Bills season won't be the best. Like that game did make me feel good about that with the Bills. that game did not make me think the Dolphins are gonna play bad next week or have this is gonna be a downturn, the start of something bad for their season. I think the Dolphins are gonna turn around and keep having amazing plays, keep having some of the best plays of the week, keep being entertaining to watch. Like, that was a division game against two really good teams and against two teams that know each other really well. Like, that was a Sunday game. This is where I think it comes down with both of these teams, is the playoffs. And it's like that with all of the 5 best teams. For me, honestly, is what is your playoff story going to be, and what can I predict from that, from your playoff history? So first I'm going to start with the Bills. I said this with the Bills, and this is what I was right about with Garrett's Football Show like a couple weeks ago with Aaron. If we, I don't even know why I said that. I'm tweaking. But if the Bills are going to be good every regular season. Like, they're going to win a lot of regular season games. Josh Allen is going to play good. Stephon Diggs is going to play good. They're going to beat a lot of teams. They're going to be one of the best, ranked teams in the AFC going in the playoffs every year. When the Bills have a really good team against them and it's a really good game, Josh Allen, is he going to do some crazy ass shit trying to win the game that he doesn't need to do? And Josh Allen's ability to run the ball, the ability to be like a unicorn and one of the best players in the league as a whole, sometimes puts him in a bad predicament where I feel like he makes those mistakes. So sometimes the great thing about him is what a lot of times, what loses him the game or loses the Bills the game, and where it can sometimes be his fault. And that's really what's going to come down to, is in big moments when you're in the playoffs against the Chiefs, when you're in the playoffs against, who's it going to be this year, because the Jags have been ass, the Bengals, who knows what's going on against them, when you're against the Dolphins of the world, because maybe that game in the playoffs is different, the Ravens of the world, because I think the Ravens are going to be there. Whoever it is, when you're in a close game against someone that's also good, it's really going to be just one of those. It's going to be Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, because in the playoffs, it's a different season than the regular season. If the Bengals somehow get there, or Patrick Mahomes. Those are the players that I'm really worried about, where Josh Allen makes up a mistake and fucks up in the playoffs. But for the Bills, all we can do with the rest of this regular season is just continue to say, Josh Allen, just don't fuck up. Just don't give us a reason to look at, okay, you fuck up a lot, but just continue to play the way that I feel like most people think they are going to do. Win a lot of games, dominate bad teams, and look like one of the best teams in the league. That's what the Bills have been for the last 3 or 4 years. So they're one of those teams where it's not going to really show up to us until the playoffs, and see who's healthy, who's not healthy, and how they play in big moments. Even in the playoffs, I think the Bills are going to win a playoff game. They're good for a playoff game because that's what the Bills do. But what else do the Bills do? Fuck up in big moments when they have the chance to get to the Super Bowl. The one thing I'll say is just that Josh Allen had one of the best playoff games I've ever seen in my life. And 2 years ago, in the divisional round against the Chiefs, I'm tweaking, and I'm not gonna forget it for a lot of years. If they had gotten the ball on that overtime, they would have won that game. But outside of that, Josh Allen does fuck up in big moments. The Dolphins can Tua stay healthy, and when Tua, if he's staying healthy, when he gets to the playoffs, how good is he gonna play? I've been thinking, one of the things with this live. This is me talking about the live, which I feel like is kind of maybe not good to do, but I'm doing it. I wanted to actually search things up and be more interesting, and I've kept it on the ESPN the whole time. But this is the first thing I'm gonna type in, to a playoff record. Has he been to the playoffs? But what's his playoff record? Has Tua been to the playoff? Well, obviously yes, because they made it to the playoff. Yeah, has Tua won a playoff game? That's really a better question. All right, bro. If I go to this article, are you gonna tell me if he won? Bro, just tell me if he won. Yeah, they're making this more difficult than I want it to do. Than I want it to be. 2 out of 10. Oh, bro. Last time the Dolphins have won a playoff game was making me think. Okay, since 2000. So it doesn't really matter. Whatever Tua's playoff record is, it's all losing. So actually, let's hope it's only one loss instead of 2 or 3. So when Tua gets to, I say that to say, is Tua going to stay healthy? And when he gets to the playoffs, is he going to be nervous? Is he going to F up? Is he going to make a playoff? What a lot of players do the first time they play on the playoffs. They make a mistake. they do something, the lights become too bright. I will say Tua seems like one of those players where he wouldn't do that, where I feel like he would come into the playoffs and play well, but I mean, you never know until it happens. When Tua goes into the playoffs this year, is he gonna have a good game? And for some reason, I can't even remember how good their playoff game was last year. So that's really all I'm gonna say with the Dolphins. I think they're gonna win a lot of games. I think they're gonna continue to be good. We're not gonna know a lot about them into the playoffs. So, yeah, Bills, Dolphins. No matter what happened with that week last week, they're still some of the two best teams in the league. Now let's move on. Yeah, I want to talk about the Chiefs. AFC teams. Chiefs, I don't even like that game. The reffing was crazy for it. Taylor Swift has been annoying. Like, there's so much you could talk about with that game, but I'm just going to be quick and talk about it because I don't want Garrett's football show to be too long, even though this is live. Chiefs, receiving core is the only question that I have with them. How good is the receiving core going to be in the playoffs? What are they going to do to make a mistake? Even with that game, I do want to talk about the conversation about, like, Zach Wilson played a better game than Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he did, but the game plan that they were doing for the Jets, like, the game plan that the Jets did for him, he didn't have to do too much. And when he did have to do a lot, it seemed like he made mistakes. Something about Zach Wilson with that, like, I feel like that was a good game for him to thrive for some reason, because I feel like he was really praying for his career that game. Like, everyone's been talking leading up to that game with Robert Saleh. He's giving him too much leeway. You see the videos of, like, Garrett Wilson on the sideline saying he can't throw. Everyone is, like, hyping him up like he's a little kid, but then you're also seeing the things where you're hearing reports of them not being happy with him and saying he can't throw the ball. Joe Namath had, like, everyone was talking about him saying they need to get rid of Zach Wilson. Like, it was the bright lights. Zach Wilson seems like the type of person that, like, loves to be in the spotlight when it feels right. I mean, Taylor Swift was there. It's at New York. Like, that was a game for him where all the stars were aligned, where you should have won that game and you can play your best if you don't tweak out. And I think he did that. And even though I don't even think it's his fault necessarily that they lost, he did everything in that right. He even did everything right in that game. I couldn't talk. He even did everything right in that game in the press conference while putting it all on me. Like, I lost that game. That's on me. I put it on my shoulders. Like, even that's the right way to handle a bad loss to a game you should have won, an upset you should have had. So all that to say is, yeah, even though he played well and all that, it was that even I wasn't more impressed by him in that game than I am by Patrick Mahomes in that game. Like, so let's just, that conversation, I just wanted to address that. Zach Wilson statistically played better. Like, if I'm just looking at the numbers, I guess as I'm seeing this conversation, I have numbers in front of me that sounds crazy. Like 18 for 30, 203 yards. 28 for 39, 245 yards. They basically had the same percentage, like same completion percentage. He just had more yards, and then 2 interceptions, versus 2 TDs, 0 interceptions. Statistically, he had the much better game, but when you think about it and really analyze it and look into what that game was, I think the Chiefs were looking past them. I think Taylor Swift was there, and they were all happy about that. And then it was their first game, I think, for Patrick Mahomes, starting like Monday Night Football or Sunday night, any night game in New York. And Zach Wilson was playing for his career. Everyone was giving up on him. And Zach Wilson is the type of player to try to kind of come up in those moments. And any person that is not a tweak out, if your job is on the line, you would be able to perform, I would hope. So I just want to cut that away right now. But let's talk about what I think about the Chiefs. It doesn't need to be a lot. The Chiefs are going to win a lot of games. They're everything that I said about the Bills. And then in the playoffs, what we know from their history is they win. So that's really all it is, what you got to like think about the Chiefs. Like, they're going to win a lot of games. They're going to look impressive. Sometimes in the regular season, the way that they win games is like weird, and it looks like, wow, maybe they could have lost that game, but they always figure out a way to win. And the thing I will say about Patrick Mahomes is just why he's the GOAT. Like, Patrick Mahomes is a unicorn. I say it all the time because he's the physical talent mixed in with the mental talent as well. And that's where, like with Josh Allen, where sometimes I was talking about where he makes mistakes that loses the game. And the same thing that's great about him is the same thing that it can be bad about him, is where he's so talented and God gifted and has so much ability that it can sometimes lead him to make mistakes that lose games in big moments. Patrick Mahomes is so talented and God-given, but he also has that mental ability in game, in the moment, to do the right thing and make the right decision, where it's like even in the playoffs, or even when you have a game like this where it's 20-23 and you have the opportunity to go and get a touchdown and you just slide and come up and you just do the, like, because you just have the mental ability, he has the talent to go and run to get there and get the first down, and the awareness to know to slide and win the game. And that's just one little thing that just came up in the top of my head, but he has a million instances of that in just the 5 or 6 years that he's been in the league. Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback all around that I've ever seen. And the thing about it is again, he is that combination. Like Tom Brady, he's the GOAT. He's the greatest quarterback of all time. So, and that's two completely different things to say. Yeah, Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback I've ever seen. Tom Brady is the best quarterback of all time. Like, Tom Brady wasn't like just a physical like monster or a God-given gift. Like, it was so, like, he had that and he grew a lot and he gained a lot of talent by working. But Tom Brady was this, and Josh Allen is like, just, he's this too. Of course, I'm not saying Josh Allen is stupid, but of course not. But Josh Allen is like physically gifted, and so much of his being one of the best 5 quarterbacks in the league is because of that. He can just do stuff that nobody else can do, and it's not necessarily us looking at him and say, wow, that was a genius play, even though he does that as well. Patrick Mahomes is both. The Chiefs are going to get to the playoffs. The Chiefs, they may not be the best team in the AFC this year. I was thinking the Dolphins could fight for that. I'm thinking the Bills could fight for that. But no matter what, I think it's a good chance. But even if it is coming to that, Chiefs are getting to the playoffs. They're going to be the first or second best team in the AFC. And they're going to win 2 playoff games. Like, that's just, like, I think you can bank that. And that's really all you need to say with the Chiefs. Now, let's get in. We're at 3 teams. Let's get into our NFC teams, the last 2. 49ers. Damn, my shit's moving slow. 49ers. 49ers are the best team in the league. I didn't put them first, like I said. This list is not in order, but 49ers are the best team in the NFL right now. There's really no question about that. The 49ers are complete. They're the best team in the league, and out of the teams that I've said so far, and the teams that I'm going to say, like the last one, yeah, they have the worst quarterback, which is crazy to think about. The worst quarterback. Like, even it's just the 49ers, like, it's those things again where it's similar to the Chiefs and the Dolphins and the Bills. I said it's like this with all 5 teams. It's like, what is the playoffs going to be for them? Hold on, let me fix this shit. This looks crazy. Hold on. That light is coming through terrible. That shit looks awful. Let me close my blind. Alright, let's see. Make sure I'm coming through clear here. Damn, that still looks bad. That's something to keep in mind. But moving on. The 49ers, it's the same with like I said, with all of these teams. How are they going to play in the playoffs? Like the 49ers, they're 4-0. They're going to win a lot of games. They're going to get to the playoffs. Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in the league. I'm scared to bet on him to score a touchdown for any time touchdown score, because I think as soon as I do it, I'm going to lose. He scored a touchdown in like the last 15 games, just broke like a record from, who was it? Jerry Rice, I think, for like the most touchdowns scored consecutively. And I'm not sure if that's in the entire league or just for the 40. I'm not even going to look it up what I'm saying. I'm not knowing if that's the league, but if you know me, you know what I'm thinking in my head. I'm not even going to say it to slip myself up. But Christian McCaffrey, best running back in the league. Their overall, like, just their rushing, their receiving core, and their, like, running game just all together. They're just probably the most complete team in the league. And for some reason, I feel like it's one of those things like, the 49ers definitely should have won a Super Bowl in the last couple of years. When I look like how they play in the regular season, like what happens to them, and maybe if Brock Purdy doesn't get hurt in the playoffs last year, and that game against the Eagles, they get to the Super Bowl. But everything about the 49ers just screams, why in the Super Bowl, why aren't they winning? And historically, for some reason, like the Eagles, like as far as NFC teams, the Eagles usually get there, like, or it's like some other team, like the year, of course, where Matthew Stafford had it, I'm trying to think, like, the 49ers should definitely be in the Super Bowl this year. Like, that's, like when you say the should, But for some reason, I'm puzzled. I don't think they will be. But they should be. And that's crazy to me. But, I mean, yeah, they're in the top 5 best teams in the league. I'm not going to talk about them for a long time because they're not like a team I particularly like watching or love. But, yeah, most complete team. I will say this with the Brock Purdy conversation. Everybody who is saying that, like, Brock Purdy is being helped by how good, like by how good that team is, how good the play calling is, and everything that they're able to do. Yeah, that's kind of true, but you're wrong. Like Brock Purdy's good. He's good. He's a great game manager. Like, he's very accurate, 20 for 21. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. Like, he's like the perfect quarterback for that situation, which is interesting. Like, the 49ers definitely got lucky with the situation, how everything worked out with him becoming the quarterback. The only thing, like, you hope is he doesn't get, like, hurt. But he's definitely an upgrade from Jimmy G, because Jimmy G is a great manager, but he would fuck up in big moments. He doesn't seem like he gets scared of the big moment, and he's even better. Like, I don't even feel comfortable calling him a game manager. Like, he's not like a top 5 quarterback or a great quarterback. Like, I wouldn't even say top 10, but he's good, and he's a perfect fit for the 49ers. So that conversation of, like, is Brock Purdy going to start playing bad, or is he going to start making, like, simple mistakes or fuck up in big moments? I don't see that happening. If the 49ers lose, it's not going to be just a Brock Purdy problem. Like, he may make a bad interception, or they may lose a game to somebody, but I think we're going to be able to say at the end of that game, Brock Purdy played good. Maybe he had one bad play or something like that, but overall, the 49ers just lost that game. Like, I don't see the 49ers losing a playoff game and us just saying Brock Purdy fucked up. That's all I'm going to say. Like, anything that I've seen with the 49ers or any games that I've watched, I watched them with the Steelers, of course, because I'm a Steelers fan. That's my team. I've watched them in the playoffs last year. I've watched certain games with Brock Purdy last year because he just became, he wasn't losing games, so it just became interesting to watch those games. And I never once thought, like, he's getting carried overtly by the rest of the team. He's getting carried, but he's also putting in work. So you have to give respect to Brock Purdy. Like, that's just a thing with that, and can't say anything else with it. Now let's move on to the 5 teams, because with this, it's so the 5th best team. Let me see what I want. Let me see. I don't. Right now, going into week 5, the Cowboys are the 5th best team. But the first honorable mention, and I'm going to say this, is the Eagles. They're the first honorable mention, and I'm going to name a couple more, but the Cowboys are the 5th best team in the league, and the Eagles are at 6 right here. Right now, at this moment, going into week 5. Playoffs, because like I said, with all of these teams, how are you going to play in the playoffs? I think the Eagles have the Cowboys beat out because the Cowboys are a poverty franchise, and they always find a way to fuck up. But first, so yeah, even with that, I'm going to start with the Cowboys. The Cowboys came back, or they came back, they had a bounce back game, and they absolutely mollywopped and demolished who did they play? The weak ass, was it like 20-3 that they won? Who did the Cowboys beat? Yeah, I'm tweaking. I know I see it, but I'm just not seeing it. Yeah, they mollywopped the Patriots. I will say the Patriots were playing good. Like, they were playing every team, like, tough that they had, like, played so far this season, and while they were losing a lot of games, it didn't look bad when you watch those, but they got absolutely destroyed by the Cowboys, and the Cowboys had a bounce back game that they needed. This is the thing with the Cowboys. I feel like sometimes they get in their own head, and when it comes, not in their own head, but they get too cocky. They get too excited. They let the fact that everybody in media hypes them up actually hype them up, and they sometimes can have a game where they get upset because they're looking over a team. Like, they're like the perfect team that I can see saying, yeah, this week is going to be a given. Let's look next week. And I know this week they were just on their shit like, okay, we had that bad loss against the Cardinals because we were overlooking them. Now we're about to fuck up the Patriots. But, I mean, when it comes down with the Cowboys, because their defense is great. They have one of the best defenses in the league. They have I'd say the best defensive player in the league still, in Micah Parsons. The problem with them is I think Dak Prescott in big moments comes up short, which is a lot of things. Like, in the playoffs is really, are you going to come up short? Are you going to win in the playoffs, or are you going to fuck up? And with Garrett's Football Show, with what I'm talking about right now at the moment is looking at these 5 teams and what they are now, but what I think they're going to be when it's all said and done, because I like making big statements about what the season's going to be, because that's where I usually am right. Like, I think right now, the Cowboys are the 5th best team in the league. But if I'm ranking like what I think they're going to do in the playoffs, the Eagles are better than them, and I would put the Eagles in that slot. It's just the Cowboys right now, they're dominating teams. They look really good. Their offense looks good. Like, if everything on paper, if they continue to play like this and Dak Prescott has the best playoffs of his career and plays the way he should, or the best playoffs since I think it was like his rookie year or like that second year, I think, like when him and Zeke came in and they were just crazy. If he plays like that, then the Cowboys are going to make it really far. But the Cowboys are good for fucking some shit up. And that's why I will say the Eagles, in the long run, I trust them more. But right now, at this moment, the Cowboys are better. Now let's get into the Eagles. The Eagles are first honorable mention. I'm not convinced in the Eagles still. That game against the Commanders isn't bad because it's a division game. Like, the fact that it went, I think, to overtime, 31-34, you can't be mad about that. Like, you can't say, like, that looks bad because the Commanders are bad. Nothing along those lines, because that's a division game. I say this with Garrett's Football Show. If you watch Garrett's Football Show, you know I'm going to say this. And if this is your first time watching Garrett's Football Show, get used to me saying this. Division games are going to most of the time be close, and you really can only take, like, you can take a lot from them, but you also can't. Like, unless a team gets absolutely blown out or one of the teams, like, sucks, like this 31-34 score, I don't think it's a big deal as far as what these two teams are going for it in the season and where they're going to end up. So the fact that the Eagles, a better team on paper, went down to the wire against the Commanders doesn't make me look at the Eagles any lesser than what I thought before that game. They won the game, which is what they're supposed to do, and they're the better team. Like, that's what's supposed to happen. But there's something about the Eagles still where, like, I just can't trust in them. All last season I said it, and I wanted to trust in them this season, but the way they're coming out, like, they're winning these games, like, they're winning, which is all that matters, but they're not winning them in a fashion that's, like, making me really confident. Like, let me go and look at this really quickly. Who do they have coming up the next couple of games? Because that's what's really gonna, like, that shit's damn near kind of scary. I think this is what's gonna make me prove or make me believe in the Eagles. Rams, I think they're winning. Jets, I think they're winning. Dolphins, Commanders again. Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills, Niners, Cowboys. That is insane. Even looking at that, I'm like, wait, what? Dolphins, Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills, Niners, Cowboys. If they come out of there in close games, winning most of them, like I'm gonna be completely convinced in the Eagles. But if they play the way they've been playing, I feel like the first 4 games, they're not gonna come out of that looking good. Like, I think the Eagles are gonna have to play a lot better the next 6 to 7 weeks than they have, and they're gonna have to take a way better like as a team a jump. Like I said at the beginning of the season of Garrett's Football Show, this is going to be the season for me to believe in the Eagles, which is why I just said a couple minutes ago, I feel bad still saying I don't believe still, but this is the season to believe in the Eagles because they have a much harder schedule, whereas last season their schedule was a cakewalk in my opinion. So this season, it's coming now because the first 4 games like that I was watching of them that I saw them play and I wasn't really that convinced. Like these 4 wins, like the way they won it, the way the games happened, like I just wasn't convinced. These next 7 weeks, if they're winning, and they're winning good, or even if it's close games against these teams, these are the best teams that they're going to see in the NFC, and these are the best teams probably. These are one of the teams that if they make it to the Super Bowl, they're probably going to see in the Super Bowl. And these are teams that they're going to definitely see in the playoffs. And if you're beating these teams or playing these teams good, I won't be able to do anything but come on Garrett's Football Show Live and just be confident in the Eagles and say I believe. But because of how they're playing so far, going off 4 weeks, they have to be an honorable mention. Now, there's more that I want to talk about, but yeah, like I said, Garrett's Football Show is going to be more often, so I'm just going to move on. We're going to get to Week 5 matchups. Let's do this quickly. We're at 1 hour and 4 minutes that I've been talking. This is crazy. I haven't done an hour of Garrett's Football Show in a minute. Bears, Commanders. And what is this, our Thursday night game? Commanders. Jags, Bills. Jags have been trash all year. Texans, Falcons. Texans, but that's going to be a really good game. Texans. Panthers, Lions. Titans, they're an honorable mention. I didn't say it, but they're one of the honorable mentions, and they're sneaky. Titans, Colts. I got Colts. That's going to be another good game, a division game, and there's a chance the Colts lose that, but that's going to be a good game. Giants at Dolphins. Giants had one good season. They suck. Saints at Patriots. Saints. Steelers at Ravens. I don't want to say. Ravens. That hurt. Eagles at Rams. Eagles. But that's going to be a good game. Bengals at Cardinals. Jets at Broncos. I was thinking, is that the trash bowl? I forgot the Bears and the Broncos were the trash bowl last week, but it looks like another trash bowl. I almost thought I was looking at the wrong thing. I got Jets. Chiefs at Vikings. Cowboys at Niners. Packers at Raiders. All right, that is the first live of Garrett's Football Show. That was longer than I wanted it to be. That felt weird, but I got through it. And that's Garrett's Football Show, Season 2, Episode 4. If you watched any bit of this, like I say all the time, thank you. Like, subscribe, like this live, like this video, and subscribe to Garrett's Football Show or GS Studios by YouTube so that every time I go live, you can see it, because I'm going to start going live a lot more often. I'm going to get better at this because this isn't the quality that I like anything that Garrett Sims is doing. This isn't the quality. It's not as smooth as I want it to be. But subscribe to GS Studios because I'm going to be putting out a lot more content. I'm going to be going live often, and you definitely want to see when I do that. And I will be back on Thursday to go live. What is it, Tuesday? Yeah, I'll be back on Thursday before the Thursday night game. What is that? Bears Commanders. I'll be back on Thursday before that game to talk about that. I'll do research, give some bets, talk about some fantasy, have fun with that, because it's going to be like less of a formal episode like this was. But that's a wrap. If you watch any bit of this, thank you for watching. You guys stay safe.